Alright ladies, I'm going to try to make a video only because I cleaned my desk a little today. I got this new little tower. I'm so happy to put things away. I have a lot of old stamps, but I love them. I'm not parting with my old ones, but I needed to clean my desk in such a way that I could reach everything to make a card. I know, this is where I work, and it looks terrible, but this is just a scrap pile, and my stuff that's in progress, and the blocks that I'm using, and the inks that I have out, and the stamps I'm going to play with, and embellishments and tools. I know it looks terrible. But this is where I work, and I'm going to sit right here real quick. I'm going to attach my phone right above my desk. Click. It's a clip-on. I'm going to see if I can tilt that just right so you could see what I'm doing, okay? Anyway, I have a quarter sheet of paper. Like I take a big sheet of paper, and I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again, so I'm playing with a quarter sheet. Sometimes I'll play with a whole sheet, but today I just need to make a few quick thank you cards. And I pulled out some colors. I don't know what I'm doing just yet, I'm guessing. But let's just say I was gonna pull out some flowers and make a card. And I didn't want it to look Christmassy, but I'm using this set because it's like one of my favorites, okay? I know there's a lot of new flowers out there, but this was one of my favorite sets, this particular flower. If you do them in a bright red, it looks like Christmas. If you do them in a yellow or orange, it does not look like Christmas. So I thought that would be interesting. Now if I use these leaves, it looks like Christmas. Even these look like Christmas. But if I use this one, it looks a little less like Christmas. So I needed something just to say thank you. And I figured I would give this a try with these colors. This is a Rich Razzleberry. That's like a purplish wine color. And mint macaron, which it's a very minty green. It's kind of like on the bluish tone, a very pale, light green, but it's kind of a bluish green, okay? Not a yellowy green, okay? Because I'm using that kind of color. Anyway, so I'm gonna give that a try. I already put these on a block, so I have this leaf here, and I have, sorry about the stain, but I love my stain. I have this one, and I have the bigger one, the bigger flower. And I have my stamping chamois. And I was cleaning them up because I was playing with them earlier. Let me just, whatever's on there, let me just get that off just in case. But sometimes it's fun just to play. There's no rhyme, no reason, just put those little flowers down anywhere. So I'm going to start with the darkest color, and I'm going to start with the largest flower. Now, if you're looking at my paper, I'm using just some scrap paper from my ink. Scrap paper from my printer, okay? Something didn't print just right, so I used the back of it as scratch paper. But I'm hoping you can make out the edges of where I'm playing. And sometimes while I'm playing, when I'm stamping a flower or something, I will purposefully go off the edge. Because this is a quarter sheet, and I know that I will trim this down to fit a card, I'm not really going to worry about going off the edge, because the edges are going to get cut off, okay? So I don't want to lose too much flour. But here's one. I'm going to, without re-inking, I just stamped it again, and I got a lighter color there. And I'm going to do that again over in this corner, down there. And I might turn them a little bit so they don't look so stark similar. Alright, so let's just say I put another one. I'm going to turn this to make it look a little different so they don't look exactly the same. Alright, so I've used that flower a few times. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to take the little one and do the same thing. Except now I have a little more, just a different flower, something else to look at. I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to twist and go right next to it. That looks nice. All right, and I'm going to put this one down. Well, let's see, I'll put this here. You want to be careful not to run off the edge if you're going to use that second stamp in the same picture, okay? I kind of wish I didn't put them all too close because I really want to get some leaves in here too. Let me think about where I'm going to put some leaves. I'm going to put an extra flower down here. Okay, just a little something. All right, so I'll have some leaves going that way. So this one ink pad gave me all those flowers. Okay, one ink pad, two little stamps, two flower stamps. Look how pretty that is. That could be a card all by itself, just put something there. But really I wanted to fill this page with a pattern. So I'm going to add this leaf and a little bit of green. Alright, so we're going to do that. Now any stamp pad you have, any stamp sets you have, I should say, any stamp sets you have that you have flowers and leaves, you can make a pattern. Here, I'm just going to put some leaves in there to give it a little something to look at. Sometimes things overlap, but they don't have to. And this is a really light green, so I don't really want to stamp it and then stamp again, because the next one won't show up. So being that it's such a light green, I'm just going to fill in these areas. Let's see, I can get a lot of ink on there, fill in the spaces. Okay. Now when I make a card, I intend to pop up a sentiment on it. I'm not leaving a space to put the words, because I'm going to put those words on something. I'm trying to imagine how to get this to fit in here just nicely. Okay, see I have a little white space right here. I'm going to come in from the edge. Come in this way. Okay, so something different. So basically I have filled my space with lots of, oh, and I see a little space here. I can add some more leaf. I've filled my card with color. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when I trim it, so we want to get as much. I have a little space here, but I'm wondering if I should put a little flower here instead of an extra leaf, because I got plenty of leaf in that corner. So we're going to do that. And this stamp set has this little tiny piece that goes in the center of the flowers. Okay, so I might do that as well. And I think I might actually do that in, oh, look at that. See, I accidentally took my leaf and put it in the wrong color. I don't want this leaf in that color. I wanted this little flower. All right, so we will clean all that. Now that leaf has that weird stain, but it's okay. I'm just adding a little more color in some areas where I can squeeze another bit in there. I'm going to stamp off and put a pink leaf in here. Okay, just to give you an idea. All right, you seeing it? I see a little white space right here I could fill in. And I will take the most, how can I turn it to get the most coverage? That's good enough. Okay, I'm liking that. All right, so this, I just made a piece of patterned paper. Okay, and if I had done a half a sheet, I'd be making 2 cards at a time. If I had made a full sheet of cardstock, I could cut it into 4 and make 4 cards at a time. Sometimes when I'm playing, I don't know what it's going to look like in the end, and I don't want to make a big mess when I could just make a little mess. So I'm rinsing those off. Now this stain, it's okay. I don't mind that it's stained. Stained stamps are easier to find when you drop them. So cleaning that off. That's clean. You know it's clean when you stamp it down and nothing happens. That's clean. That's clean. That's clean. You know what? I think I see a very faint hint of color, so I'm gonna wipe that a little more. All right, we're gonna call those clean and put that away. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with my stamped piece of paper now. This could be a Christmas card, really it could, because I like the flowers, but I don't have to make it a Christmas card, okay? I could make it a thank you note, I could make it a get well card or whatever, but for today, oh, I have this Wisteria Wishes, okay? And this is a really cute Happiness Grows Within, and I could use that to send a thank you note to somebody. It could say thank you on the inside, it could say happy birthday on the inside, whatever I want, okay? But that's really just a cute card, and I'm gonna finish this card for you right now. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a piece of colored cardstock. That's what I want. And because I used that Rich Razzleberry ink pad, I have Rich Razzleberry cardstock. This is what I was showing you. See, Stampin' Up! Sells the color cardstock to perfectly match the ink so that your cards will look a little more professional, I guess. I don't always match. Sometimes I use a black. Black is really cool, especially with these bright colors. But since I have this, I'm going to use it. Let me find the right trimmer. Yeah, this one will cut it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this in half. Because I only need, oh, look. I bent the corner. You want to try not to bend the corners, okay? Try and keep your cardstock nice and crisp. I will use the corner that's not bent at the moment. Anytime I bend a piece, oh, that's the wrong size. I'm not going to get the right size. My base needs to be, if this is the 11.5, I need to cut it at 5.5. I'm sorry, this is 11-inch paper, so cut it at 5.5. So put that down. Now it looks like my scoring tool. I'm gonna cut that at 5.5. I'm gonna save the part that has a little bent corner because I can use this to punch stuff out. Sometimes I use it on a paper punch. Or I might use that for bookmarks or some other strips of sentiment. Now here, I'm bringing both of these down so I can score this. And I have a little mark on here, score it at the fold. Okay, so here's where I want to score it. Oh, now the dog is crying because she wants to go out. Hey, Troy! Take the dog out! All right, so I'm putting that away. All right, so now, just take out this bone folder. Now, if you don't have your bone folder yet, you can use a nice clean block and do the same thing, okay? They work great. The idea is just to get a nice crisp edge so my card stays flat, okay? Now, this paper is exactly the same as that, okay? I don't want that. I actually want to cut the edges so you can see my card front. All right, that's what we're gonna do next. So I'm gonna put these aside, put this stamps away over here, and I'm gonna move this scrap so you don't get distracted. All right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna take I have this little guillotine only because it's kind of like a great big scissors, okay? I just want to make it quick. But your regular Stampin' Up! Trimmer that I just had out will work just as well. Here I'm cutting off just 1/8 of an inch all the way around, okay? You can just as easily cut off 1/4 of an inch if you wanted more to show. But this one I'm just chopping, and I'm not even terribly careful. See, there's no measurement over there. Not even being terribly careful, because I can always go back and chop off more. Look how cute. Now, when I folded this paper, you can see there's a little lip here. The lip is on this, so I'm going to turn that so that it's bigger in the front, smaller in the back. So now when I put this together, you don't see that little lip, okay? I like that. And these little scraps, sometimes I save them, sometimes I toss them. It's not important. If they were big enough scraps, I could use them to decorate inside the card. If they're not that big, I don't worry about it. All right, so now I'm going to take another piece of paper and I'm going to make a sentiment strip. Okay, so let's see, what shall I do? It's really cute. Now, it does look Christmassy. Oh, you know what? I was going to put the other stamp. Hold on. I forgot the centers of my flowers. All right, so hold on to this. This is going to be, I have a piece for the inside and I have a piece for my sentiment strip. Okay, so I have these two pieces already cut out and my card base is cut out. But here I forgot the center of the flowers. See, I almost forgot. And I really want to put them in there. It looks more finished. All right, so I'm going to take that little tiny thing, and I'm not interested in these teeny tiny bits. They get lost, so I'm happy about the stain. And I bought this A block, okay, for teeny tiny stamps. It's such a funny little piece. Now I could introduce another color to my card right now because there's so many flower centers that if I did them all in yellow, bam, another bright color. Or I can keep a continuous color. So you've only got 2 colors on here right now, okay? Just these 2. So if I wanted to send this as a thank you note or a happy birthday card, I could introduce yellow right about now, or orange, or even a blue center. Nah, I wouldn't do a blue center. Oh, this is my very old blueberry. Let me put that away. I was thinking of, here, Daffodil Delight in the center, but it's not very bright. I could do Calypso Coral. No, I don't, that's a little too orangey. Kind of takes away from this bluish tone on the green and the bluish tone on the red. Red and blue make purple. So something that's a little deeper, something bluish. Let me see. I'm looking and I'm choosing. I could go with a gray center, but that would be boring. I could go with a Highland Heather. Nah, that's too purpley. All right. This is Fresh Freesia, one of the in colors, and this, I don't know if it would look too pink right there next to it. Or I could just end up with more green. Or I could put black in this, I don't know. You know, that's the part it's fun because you can just be creative. You know what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a sample, get my scratch paper back out, and let's see, what would happen if I introduce another color? Let me just check it. Check that thought, okay? If I put Fresh Freesia in there, no, it kind of blends in with this lighter color, so no, I wouldn't do the Fresh Freesia. It was such a pretty idea, but nope, that's not gonna do it for me. So what would happen, and I'm just gonna do this on my scratch paper because it's not terribly important. What would happen if I added a little more green to this flower? You know, that's really, it's kind of pretty with the green in the middle. That is prettier with the green in the middle. So I think I will keep that. Could I try another? No, I don't want to do another color. Okay, this is the overthinking. Troy! The dog wants dinner now. My dog is sitting right next to me crying while I'm trying to tape this. All right, so I'm gonna go back and put my flower centers in. Don't overthink it, just put them in. Okay, and I'm just tap very lightly. Make sure you get that in the center. You can turn your centers around a little bit so they don't all look exactly the same. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, here's one up here. Now I cut this down already, so everybody who's in there needs to get a center. Nobody's going to get cut off, okay? Now this stamp set also has this cute little, I think it looks like a snowflake. Okay, well it's not snowflake, it's snow. Okay, little speckles of snow, little dots and X's. So it kind of looks, and I could fill in a little bit with that stamp just to give it a little edge. That's a thought. I could add a little bit more color with that. I'll show you what that looks like. If I was to put some green, oh, it's kind of, it looks almost like pollen. And I can fill in some of these empty spaces or craziness. Some of the areas didn't have as much to look at. Okay, like that section right there is kind of funky looking. All right, so I've added a little pollen. Can you see that? A little pollen in there. Okay, so another idea, I love my blending brushes, okay? It's one of my favorite tools in the whole pack are the blending brushes, and they're right here on my side. I have one. I marked Razzleberry on it. This is a really big one, okay. I think this was a makeup brush from somewhere. Anyway, so hope I didn't shake the camera there, but I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna add a little color to the edges, okay? And doing this, it just gives it a little pink around the edge, so it doesn't look like a piece of paper that I cut out of a big. It looks more like a finished edge. All right, that's giving me a little color, just a little something on the edges. When I take the big stain paper away, you'll see those edges a little brighter. You could do this with the Razzleberry ink. You could just as easily have put green around that edge, but I know that that light green ink is not going to show up much, okay? I'm going to leave the bright in the middle so you can see it. And this little corner, because I got a purple flower in it, I have room to make that little corner a little darker. And I'm trying to keep my fingers in the middle, because if you touch the edges, what happens is that ink won't soak in where your fingers were touching, because the oil in your fingers is already soaking into that paper everywhere you touch it. So I'm trying to keep my fingers in the middle there. All right, so I'm happy with that now. Ooh. Something about that blending brush makes me happy. All right, so now I'm gonna take this piece away. That's a big mess. So now, here's my card base. Here's my beautiful pattern that I made. And I'm gonna save one of these for the inside layer. And let's say I make this card. Do I have something that says thank you? You know, I don't think I have a thank you sitting here on my desk. Let me look. I need to find something that says thank you really pretty in it. What do I have? Oh, you know what? I have this. This says thanks. And that's what I need. Where'd I put you? Here you are. Thanks. All right, so sometimes when I get these Stampin', I love my Stampin' Up! Blocks, but this one, I took a ruler and some graph paper and I scratched it, okay? And I don't recommend that for everybody, but for those of you who are good at making a mess, scratching up your things, these little scratches, I made them perfectly perpendicular to the edges of my block so that when I pick up a word, I can pick it up straight, okay? Now, I put those lines in a different place so that I could try and grab that in the middle. Sometimes I'll grab it this way, it doesn't matter. But anyway, the idea was to keep it straight so that when I stamp it down here, I can cut it straight, I can print it straight, I can cut it straight, make my life a little simpler. All right, so should I print it in this color? Should I print it in this color? It's hard to decide. I think I will go with the darker. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And then, and before I stamp it, I usually will check it out here on my scrap paper. Oh, I love it, okay? Okay, don't want to rock too much because you don't want to get ink everywhere. We're just gonna do that. Beautiful, okay. And we will take that away. And then I'm gonna cut that. Now this little trimmer, I'm just gonna cut this down to size. Now what I do on this trimmer, I like this little tiny thing. Stampin' Up! Sold these many, many years ago. This is from 2020, okay? And I use it because it's tiny and it's convenient, okay? But the edge of this, this is the safety for your finger, I use that to see if I have printed that straight. And you know what, that's straight enough. The bottom of this T lands the same place as the bottom of that S. So I'm not gonna change the position, I'm not gonna tilt it or anything like that. I'm gonna keep it just like that. But I'm gonna change the thickness of it. So I'm not taking up a whole lot of space on my card. I'm gonna bring that out here. Let's see, about this thick. Try and keep it straight. Oh, I don't want to cut off the T. Hold on. Try and keep that straight. So I press hard on that. Oops, and I'll save. See, I gotta save the scrap into my scrap pile. This piece I'll toss that little one. Now this thanks will go here, and I don't want it to be quite this plain. So we're gonna color it. We're gonna color a wee bit. And we're gonna change the edges a little bit. Okay, now one of the things I like to do is to cut the edges to give it a little something, okay? And I have this double oval punch. This is still in the catalog. I bought mine a while back when they first came out. And here's what I'm doing, okay? I love the ruffled edge of this oval. And I'm thinking of just putting this in here and giving myself a little tiny ruffle on the edge of my thanks. Okay, because it kind of matches the edge of the leaf, or not really matches, but it kind of gives it a nice look. Okay, see that little ruffled edge? And I'm going to do the same thing this way. Now for those of you who can't get it in this way, you can put it in where it normally would go and then just pull it this way. Okay, just pull it to where you want it to be. I don't want nothing else to get cut. But I want to hold it right where I want it to be, give my little ruffled edge to the side of my thanks. Look at that. See, it's just more interesting. I'm just doing something so it's more interesting, okay? So I do recommend that you get a punch, or 2, or 3, or 5. Anyway, I usually have, if you look at the catalog, maybe 8 to 10 of whatever they have in stock, okay? Because they really are handy. It's nice that I don't have to pull out the big die cutting machine every time I'm making a card. All right, now this, I want to give it just a little more color on this corner. Okay, kind of gives it an ombre look, so it's kind of more lighter in the middle. Okay, and that'll just go right there. And then I'm thinking, you know what, I could use some ribbon. Okay. I can put this right, I'm going to pop this up right here in front of these leaves. And what about a ribbon right behind that, okay? So I have all sorts of ribbons. Ooh, plenty ribbons in my arsenal here. And I'm thinking of something very easy, something very simple. You know what, I have plenty of twine, and sometimes when I'm using flowers, twine gives it kind of maybe a rustic look, but it also gives it a feeling of, you know, the end of the bouquet where you wrap it up. So I could put a little twine behind my thanks, something like that. Okay, or I could put it across. I could roll it a couple of times across. I'm not feeling it. Let me see what else I have. I have, oh, you know what I have? Another another punch. I'm gonna pull it out. I have a leaf punch that's really pretty. This one, even though it's not an exact match to the leaf, I can cut this in white. Now I get back to that piece that I cut the thanks off of, and I'm gonna open up my punch. You open them, just open that little sucker there. This is the leaf that I want. I want this big piece. What if I went like that? Now I know in doing this, I'm losing this extra piece of paper. So rather than do that, I'm gonna cut a piece of paper that's the same thickness as my leaf. Okay, the leaf is about this big. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut myself a piece of paper and just make 2 leaves instead of losing all that paper, okay? Builder punches allow you to choose what you want, okay? So I'm gonna put that all in there. Make sure I got the whole leaf covered with that paper. I'm just gonna try and get it as close to the edge as I can so that I can get 2 leaves out of the same piece. That's kind of pretty. Oh, but you know what? I don't like it. It's pretty, but it's too pale. I think if it was another color, I might have liked it. All right, so let me not waste the time. I'm gonna cut the other one just so that I have it, but I'm not using it for this card. I'm just showing it to you. Okay, they're really pretty. Normally I'll put some leaves together, and if it was on a darker cardstock, that would be pretty, okay? But on this one, there's too many things going on, so I'm gonna skip that. All right, so that was an idea, didn't work out, put that aside, try again another day. All right, so I didn't waste, this is my inside I didn't do yet. I think a white bow, maybe if I had just a white bow, I'd feel okay with that. So I'm gonna get some white twine, just for the sake of making it fast. Well, let's see, if I just take a little white twine, I have plenty of this, so I can cut it and then try it. I don't have to save this. If I put this here, I have a nice little frame. I can make a bow. Ooh, I can make a big fat bow. I doubled it, and I'm gonna make a big double bow. Let's see what would happen if I did that. Okay, it's kind of a big messy bow. What if I did that? Yeah, you know what? I think that makes me happier. All right, so leaving that aside, I didn't glue it together yet. I just cleaned my desk today, so I'm trying to keep everything organized. I got all the embellishments off to the side. Now, I'm gonna say thanks on the front. What can I put on the inside, okay? Let's see. Happiness grows within. And then I could, you know, tell the story of why I'm thanking them. What else do I have here that's handy? Well, nothing's sitting on my desk. Oh, you know what? Happiness grows within, but here's another one. To a friend who's all kinds of wonderful. So I'm going to do that to my friend who's all kinds of wonderful. Where did I put that stamp? I know I'm making a mess of my stamp sets here. Here's a pretty little stamp. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the purpley color. Now this, I don't have a whole lot of blocks on my desk that I want to pull out and get everything dirty, so I'm going to pick this up with this block, and I'm going to attempt to get it in the middle. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight because I still have some trimming to do. I'm going to test it. Yes, it looks great. I'm using photopolymer, so on the very bottom here, you see the foam? So the foam will help me to get a nice clear print. If you're working with photopolymer on a very hard surface, sometimes you get a little blurry print. All right, so I like that. Oh, I want to put some flowers in there. Okay. This is the inside of the card, and I have to trim it. Remember, I didn't trim this down yet, but I do want to get some green in there. And let's see, what did I do with my leaf? Oh, remember, I stuck that leaf in the pink, but I did clean it. Okay. Yes. I'm leaving myself room because I have to put this person and little story, and maybe I'll sign my name down there. So I'm leaving some space for all of those good things that we write. Okay. I'm thinking I could put a little bit more of that big flower maybe one more in there. And I'm going to cut off these edges, but since I don't know how much edges I'm going to cut off, we're getting some green. It's distracting to see that pink. Anyway, I'm just putting some more greenery in there. And I have my flower center. Let me just get that in there while I got the green already out. That's really pretty. Okay, this could make a card. You could have trimmed this down and put this on the front, but anyway, I wanted a big flower. The big flower is a little darker, and I don't need much of it, but I will keep it coherent. Make things look like they came together. See, put that right in there. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. Those leaves should show somewhere. And there's a big empty space right here. Gonna fill that space. And that's good. I don't need any more flowers. Okay, leave them over there. All right, so this is gonna be the inside of the card. Now, I didn't glue anything together yet. Oh, you know what? I had a little bit of sparkly dots. In that stamp set, it looks like snow, but really, when you're doing flowers, I call it pollen. When I'm doing something other than flowers, I just call them dots. Okay, so I'm going to put some extra dots. Sparkles, I like to call it sparkles, okay? Just a few, so that it looks like the front of the card. Now this, remember I trimmed this one down. This is going to go on the inside, and it's the same size. I don't want to cover up everything. I want to trim it down just a little bit. What do I do with the trimmer? I put it in the wrong place, okay? If you put everything in the right place, you see it every time. All right, so this one, I just want to cut 1/8 of an inch around the edge, but if I had put this crooked, I want to straighten it now, okay? So I check that on this. That's why I love this little machine. When I put this in here, I don't know if you can see it, but I line up the edge of this bar to those words, and I can see that those words are crooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Now my words are straight, but I don't want to chop that much off. So I'm going to keep the words straight, and I'm going to back out just enough to get so all of the top edges hanging off. And this looks straight now, and now I'm going to cut it. So I know I'm cutting off just a little bit, but that edge is crooked. This edge is straight. I'm going to put the straight edge, the good edge, across there, and I'm going to bring it out just enough so that all of this edge will get cut. Not crooked there anymore. Okay, if you look at it, you see how crooked that is? That's how much I had to straighten my words. I'm not perfect, okay? I'm just faking it and enjoying myself as I go. And if I take off this much, I will be at 4 inches trying to get that card look straight, okay? So I will not need to cut more off. That's plenty. Cutting off, look how much I cut off of the edge, okay? So it's almost 1/4 inch at one end and hardly anything at the other end. But I did that so that my inside layer would have a little frame when you open the card, and the words would look straight. They don't look crooked anymore, okay? That makes me happy. All right, so now I'm at the gluing it together stage. All right, I'm gonna throw all these away. I don't want them, okay? All right, so don't waste paper, but let's do this part first. The paper is distracting. So if I was making a big mess, I'll pull out some of those old sheets. They're just sitting right here on the top of my bin. This, I'm just going to glue it down. And I keep my glue in a little holder, and I keep it upside down so the glue is right here at the tip. Sometimes my tip is clogged, but let's see. It's not too clogged. I can get some ink out of that and get some glue out of that. Okay, don't waste too much glue. It will stick. Let me see. Now that's where I want to put the sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down, and you want to try and get it even all the way around. You got about a second to move. Yeah, once you put it down, that glue is really fast. My favorite glue, but it's fast. It's going to glue and stay. And this one, I wanted to pop it up just a little bit. And if I put this ribbon right behind it, okay, my big double bow, I think I'm going to put a little sticker, a little piece of tape. Let me get a little piece of tear tape to hold that in place how I like it. So if I put that right there, it will just hold the ribbon open. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, but I'm opening up the bow just a little bit. Give it some body. Stick it to the tape. Look at that. See? Now I can stick this here. I don't want to cover up the whole bow. Hold on. Put you on the bottom and put you on the top. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, look. Now I have my bow. Okay? Just a little interest. All right. I'm not gluing that. I'm actually going to put some dimensional stickers on the back of that. So right next to me, I have my dimensional stickers. I keep them in this little case. My desk is such a mess, and this makes it easier. So now there's a knot here, and I'm going to put this thanks right here, and there's a knot right there. So I don't want to put a sticker there. I want to put 2 stickers here, maybe 1 sticker on the end. So 1 sticker on the end, a sticker here, maybe another sticker here. Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so I have a space for my sticker to land right in between there. I'm taking off the backing, and I'm gonna put that little thank you note right in there. See, there's the little sticker. It's like not an octagon, hexagon, and I'm gonna try and aim it right inside that ribbon. It doesn't matter if it lands on top of the ribbon. It'll still be okay, but you don't want it to land on top of that knot. All right, throwing all that other stuff in the garbage. And I put all my dimensionals away. I don't need those anymore. Now the only thing I would add extra to this card is if I wanted to put some little sparkly gems, I could do that. But Stampin' Up! Has come out with some new liquid gems. Comes like this. Oh, I love them. It comes in a 3-pack of pearlized white, pearlized red, and a black. Now this looks kind of like gray when you pull it out, but I'm assuming, I haven't tried it yet, I'm assuming it'll turn black when it's dry. Now this, I'm going to glue the inside in. Actually, and I'm not gluing it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of tear tape. I have noticed, because I make so many cards, that if I give you a card and I make it easy enough for you to get that sucker out, like I'm going to write on this, okay? I'm not writing on this. I'm going to write on this. And if I just put a little tear tape in there, the recipient could probably reuse this card. She could take this out, she can put a plain white inside and write a letter. It can become a note card afterwards, okay? So my cards can get recycled, and I'm happy about that. I don't mind that at all, okay? If I give you a card and you enjoy it for a month and then you toss it in the garbage, that's not exactly what I wanted, okay? I'm trying to get this even, but I didn't cut this even, so it's close enough, okay? So if this ends up recycled, this can pull out and they can recycle it, put another piece of cardstock in there and say thanks to somebody else, and I'm okay with that. So I don't glue them in. I don't want to glue this in, and if I did use glue, it would just be a little tiny bit so that it's something that they could rip off, okay? All right, so I love it, and what I'm going to do before I close with you tonight, close up my glue, is I'm going to put these liquid pearl drops, okay? Now these, you can make those drops as big as you want, but I'm going to make them small. In fact, I'm going to get a piece of that scratch paper that all that color is distracting me. I'm going to fold it and I'm going to squirt a little bit here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's a beautiful little pearl, okay? What if I had a little pearl right here? And a little pearl right here? Oh, that's so cute, okay? But I have room to put a couple of pearls in here. All right, and these, I'm not gluing them down. And you gotta be sure when you put it, because you're not taking them back off either, okay? It just gives another little something to look at, okay? I can put a little bit over here. It's just like putting pearls that have stickers, except this one will dry. Now these have little points at the top, so I'm gonna just tap the back here, which gets rid of the point, okay? And I noticed that the one that I put on top of the ink, where my ink is, there's those little white pearls just starting to pick up some of the ink and turn pink. So in these areas where I want it to be a pearl, I dropped it on the white area, okay? That's another tip for you. But that's it. That's the end of my card. And I have this one here on this paper that's gonna get stuck to something, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that paper in the garbage. This is liquid, and if you don't let it dry, it's gonna smudge. I'm gonna show it to you, look, right? That could be a fun something somewhere else, but for this card, I don't really want a smudge. Okay, so we're gonna throw that away. All right, girls, I just wanted to show you what I was up to tonight, and I was having a little fun using different colors to make that something look not like a Christmas card, but using that beautiful little flower. All right, I hope you all have fun. I hope this video is not too long, okay? I just want to give you something to have fun with, but 45 minutes is enough for one card. Normally, if I was playing all by myself and I wasn't taping it, I would have done the whole card stock and then cut it in 4, and I would have made 4 of these, okay? Nobody knows that I'm making 4 cards at a time. They just get this pretty card. And that's the fun I'm having, okay? All right, girls, have a good night.